I know there have been evacuations in Malibu and other places. I mean, how big could this be? How serious of a fire could this be when you look at it in the context of fires you've seen before?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I live in Santa Monica, and that is a good 3 or 4 miles from here, and the evacuation order is getting pretty close to where I live. You know, it is predictable, but there's not a great deal that can be done. There are people trying to, you know, hose down these huge, beautiful fences, hedges in this part of town that, of course, right now are just fuel. The other issue, Aaron, it's the wind. The other issue, we have not had significant rain here in LA.
Yes, beautiful folks worldwide. Welcome again to the Jake and Ears Random Reviews. You don't know, news, entertainment, all kind of clothes. You don't know, it's all about random reviews. So welcome to the show once more. As we say again, event called Random Reviews, Jake and Ears. So we're going to get into this news right here. As we say, them saying, you know, whole heap of wildfire going over LA, California side, and people have to cut left them vehicle in the road and bear things. So without further delay, without further ado, we could get
massive fires burning tonight out of control in Southern California and Los Angeles, a scene being described as apocalyptic. Nick Watt is right now in Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles. And Nick, talk to me about where you are. That looks right behind you, those fires.
Yeah, so Aaron, we just drove up into the hills of Pacific Palisades where, as you say, these fires are pretty much out of control. The issue here, the wind, you can see the wind whipping that smoke. And those embers, you see the embers on the air? The wind can take those embers a mile, 2 miles, and they can set another spot fire. That's what they're dealing with. The other issue around here, this is like a hilly community. The roads are very narrow. So when people were told to evacuate, it was very difficult to evacuate. Some people tried and couldn't. There were huge traffic jams. People were abandoning their cars, going on foot. Now, we also saw LA Fire Department bulldozers just moving those cars out the way, pushing them out the way. So engines like this can come in here to try to fight these fires. Now, the other, Chris, look at this. I mean, this house, you know, I was here 6 minutes ago. This house was pristine. Look at it now. These houses behind me have been burning for some time now. So the strange thing about these fires is they're kind of predictable. We knew that this Santa Ana wind event, these hot, whipping, gusting winds were going to be coming. So fire departments were pre-positioned, ready. We knew it was happening. This morning I was down on the beach about 8 a.m. The wind was just beginning to pick up. 10:30, this fire ignited. Now 1,200 plus acres. Aaron?
I mean, the speed, the ferocity with which it has spread, Nick, is really hard to comprehend. So talk to me about where you are. You're talking about narrow roads coming up. I mean, has everyone left? I mean, because even the proximity with which you are standing to that fire, I can hear it. It's almost, it's like a fireplace. I can hear it crackling.
Well, listen, this is the great thing about California, and the terrible thing about California is reporters, we are allowed as close to these fires as we feel is safe. So we, of course, have parked up the road facing down, so if we need to get out, we can. But listen, there is danger here. There is no question. These winds are just moving right now, 50-mile-an-hour gusts maybe, and the wind is not at its peak. It is going to peak in the early hours of tomorrow morning. So we are very far from the end of this. This is only going to get worse. There are a few hundred firefighters here now trying to contain this, but it's a very difficult job. I've seen people up there, other firefighters, very, very rich homes up here, very, very expensive homes. I saw one under construction, multi-million-dollar house, just gone, just on the next road up there. So most of the people are out. That is, of course, the first priority. 30,000 people under mandatory evacuation orders. That is the first priority, to save lives. Second priority is to save property, and that is proving very, very difficult here right now, Erin.
Nick, you talk about the forecast here that the winds are going to continue at least until the early hours of tomorrow as part of the Santa Ana winds. But you're Pacific Palisades, obviously a very exclusive neighborhood, and with the speed with which this is spreading, I know there have been evacuations in Malibu and other places. I mean, how big could this be? How serious of a fire could this be when you look at it in the context of fires you've seen before?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I live in Santa Monica, and that is a good 3 or 4 miles from here, and the evacuation order is getting pretty close to where I live. You know, it is predictable, but there's not a great deal that can be done. There are people trying to, you know, hose down these huge, beautiful fences, hedges in this part of town that, of course, right now are just fuel. The other issue, Aaron, is the wind. The other issue, we have not had significant rain here in LA since pretty much last spring. And also, there hasn't been a major wildfire move through this exact area for quite some time. So what you've got is you've got a lot of vegetation that hasn't burned in a while, and that vegetation is
all over California.
dry. It's not just the vegetation burning
all
there.
over the United
It is
States.
homes. It is people's lives going up in smoke. Aaron?
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Stay safe there, and obviously dealing now with the possible evacuation of your own house. We'll be checking back in with Nick momentarily. Greg Yost and Jeff Marks join me right now, also from Pacific Palisades. Gentlemen, thanks very much. You look exhausted. I know you live near each other. You've been out fighting this all day. You can see it in your faces. What have you seen?
Yeah. We've been wearing face masks, luckily. We were prepared, like the reporter said prior. You know, this is kind of what is happening now. We were able to help put out, the firemen have been great. Luckily, their hoses are a hell of a lot better than ours. We had a fire pump. And, you know, we were able to, I think, probably save 1 or 2 houses working with the firemen, but 3 houses have gone up right around us. And the hills, I don't know if you can see, but the hills are ablaze behind us down in the valley and on the other side. So it's going on for sure, and the wind is not helping at all. It's you know, horrendous.
Greg, I know right now I believe you're standing, the two of you, in your backyard. So how close are you right now to what's happening? I mean, and also the winds that seem so, you know, it's pernicious, but also unpredictable. They can shift very quickly.
Yeah, the wind can shift for sure. Right now, I mean, what I'm doing is I'm looking over the top of my house at the other house that unfortunately burned. And we've been up there, you know, standing
up to the firefighters,
so it doesn't continue on down the hill. So right now it's not looking real good. The wind is blowing real heavy, and we're losing some light. So, you know, maybe a little bit of luck, we'll be able to stay with it. But we made a big difference just for the few houses around us for sure with the firemen. They were doing great too.
Yes, and we know there's hundreds of them there trying to do what they can. We've been talking about it spreading now 3 football fields a minute in terms of the fire itself. Jeff, sorry.
Their resources are being spread thin. The fire is going lots of different places up in the hills.
Jeff, what are you going to do now?
We're going back to fight fires. Yeah, we're going up on the hill and keep saturating the field and the area and the roofs. And if there's any embers, we just water them down right away.
Yeah, catch it early. But right after we're done with you, we wanted to talk with you, tell you what was going on. We're going back up on the roof.
You're going back up. I mean, and throughout the night, are your families okay?
Well, families are out of here. We're the ones holding the ground.
So, Jeff, may I ask you, what have firefighters been able to, I mean, if you live there, so you've been through this before. I know that our reporter was just saying your specific area has not had a direct fire in quite some time. You're used to it, of course, in general, but specifically to Pacific Palisades. But it is fearsome how it is spreading right now. And you have through the hours of the night. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
This is as close as we've seen, and it's black smoke everywhere. I think hopefully that's the end of one of the houses that burnt, but it's definitely spreading, and the wind is not helping.
Jeff, so and then you guys will stay out through the night, and then what? Take stock of where you are?
Yep, look for fire. I just put on a pot of fire. I mean, a pot of coffee right now.
And do you have other people in your neighborhood who are out doing what you're doing as well?
I think most everybody's gone.
So it's just the two of you.
We're getting a lot of people information about their house via text and pictures. But we've been safe. I mean, moderately safe. We know our exit. Put it that way.
Well, that of course is important, and I know you talk about saving those houses. You can only imagine what that means for the lives of everyone inside. As we said, everything going up in flames of people's entire lives. Thank you both so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, again, as I say, prayers goes up the ones in the California region, where wildfire blaze and burn down part of the mountains over them side there. So again, you don't know, prayers goes up to firefighters them same way I do them job and all the good Samaritans them. Again, the first video before, I want to say prayers goes up to the ones them who, two individuals them who lost them life in the video previous. So you go check out that and put in the comments and the views and tell them what you think about this fire right as so go on, the wildfire out in the California region. You know what I say? So you don't know. Again, welcome to Jake and Ears Random News and Reviews. You don't know. Don't get it confused.